Kia ora, ko Madeleine Armstrong Wilcox tuku ingoa. Thank you so much for stopping to have a little work through this activity in this video. I would like to introduce you to a wee learner that I know well, and his name, not his real name, is Brodie. And lovingly, I refer to him as Brodie the backup dancer. Now, I'm not Brodie's teacher. I happen to be in his classroom watching these particular events unfold, and it just makes a great little story for you to unpack from a strengths and sticking points perspective, as well as from a coaching perspective. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit of Brodie's story. You're going to go away and do some work, and then later I'm going to come back and tell you what happened at the end of this little story. So Brodie's in the classroom. His year three-ish and a mixed year three-ish class, and they're all gathered together for the, start of day session and the roll and some kind of connection warm-up activity. It's all proceeding really lovely, and everyone's sitting in a circle doing their thing. They're playing a game. They're actually playing Welcome to My Brain, which maybe you'll get to play today, is their connection activity. So the kids are choosing and sharing, and it's really lovely. Beautiful tone. It's beautiful. Brodie is standing at the back of the room directly in the eye line of the teacher, not in the eye line of the kids, because the kids are sitting in a lovely circle on the mat and they're all very lovely. He's directly in front of the teacher's eye line. And he's just dancing away like this, and he's jiving around the back of the room, and he's just having a blast directly in the teacher's eye line. Possibly quite deliberately, who knows? But he's jiggling around and he's dancing around. And he pops out of the room and he pops back in, and he's dancing and dancing. And this is, a decent time frame that this is happening. So the teacher, as I talk to you later, I'm just using planned ignoring for that. That's my strategy. I'm like, okay, that's a strategy that teachers use. All right, fine. And so it carries on, it carries on. The kids finish up their Welcome to My Brain. They've all shared and talked, and now they're moving on to another activity at their tables, responding to what they were talking about in the Welcome to My Brain. They're all walking off quietly, but with a really, determined and busy kind of hum in the room. You know how it feels. Brodie, top of his lungs, still right at the back of the room, still kind of dancing about. I didn't get my turn, he pipes up with very loudly. Teacher from the other side of the room says, yeah, but you're dancing. And she kind of wumbles on and carries on. No conversation, no real engagement. It was just those two things back and forth. Well, that doesn't land well with Brodie at all. And so you can see his little body tense, as you can see the tension rising in that little body, and he shouts even louder, but I didn't get my turn. That's a big shout, right? All the other kids, the first shout was just kind of part of the classroom hum. It wasn't a big deal, but the second one really got everyone's attention. So a lot of little heads spun round and checked out Brodie. Now, I'll tell you a version. I'm going to tell you the real version later, but a version of that is the teacher responding with defensiveness or behavior management, whatever you want to call it. The teacher just says back, you're shouting at me. Stop shouting at me, which is a pretty human thing to do, to be honest. It's just perhaps not the best strategy to employ, but it is very human. I'm sure we've all done it. Well, that enrages Brodie even further, and the situation just spirals down from there. He's heightened, the teacher is annoyed. The more annoyed she gets, the more heightened he gets. The class there, they've got their eyes on stalks. No one's able to pay attention to what they're doing, and Brodie just goes from bad to worse to worse to worse. Okay? I just want you to imagine that sequence of events playing out in a classroom. You've probably come across hundreds of versions of that exact same sequence of events. Okay? So you've got a couple of things I want you to do. First, that are listed. I want you to think from your perspective. Then I want you to think about how you might have a conversation with that teacher, a coaching conversation, one that's open and curious and respectful of everyone's mana. And then I'm going to tell you the real story of what happened when Brodie actually got his turn. So enjoy your activity and then come back to me in a minute. Thanks.